You are listening to Inspiration and Information with Jen Julius. I am so excited to be here today. I have two amazing guests. Gabe and Priscilla Tuft are back in the studio, but we're bringing you something different today from what the last two shows were about. We're going to be talking about the 10 communication guidelines that they live by to maintain a happy, healthy, and fulfilling marriage amidst all of the wild adventures that they're on. So I would love for you two to just say hello and introduce yourselves, and let's jump in because this is going to be chock full of fun. So, who wants to start?
Well, hi, Jen.
Hi. Good to see you again.
It is a pleasure, as always.
Hello. Excited to be here. We have dedicated our lives to health and fitness, and we want to talk today a little bit about health and fitness of relationships.
Oh, which that doesn't get talked about very often, does it?
No, it gets skimmed over quite a bit. I think it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really appreciate you guys coming back out, and I know that we have these 10 tips we want to offer up to people, but I'd love to hear just what you guys feel compelled to share around your relationship. How did you even end up in this beautiful marriage while you're running a business, while you're raising a 3-year-old, while you're both in the health and fitness world, right?
How do we end up in this? I think, I don't believe in coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason. I think it's fate. We met when Priscilla was 16. I was 18, and these two buddies of ours, they were brothers, and she was at the house. One of the guys was putting in a car stereo for her, and I just happened to come by the other brother, and as I walked in the front door, Priscilla was walking out, and our eyes locked, and I just remember not being able to say anything, and she did the same thing. I mean, it was like, hi. She was like, hi, and then there was just an electricity in the air. It was amazing. You hear about love at first sight, and it was definitely it. Like, that is the definition of love at first sight. Like, our eyes were locked; they weren't moving. There was like, you could hear like the heavens open and the. Oh.
It was definitely a defining moment. We knew at that exact second that something powerful was about to happen. And just seeing each other, him getting ready to go out to a club, smelling great, looking great, me covered in grease, working on the car.
Club. I used to do that.
But we knew something absolutely amazing and life-changing was about to happen, and we were right.
That's funny. Usually it's the other way around, like the guys covered in grease and the girls going out to the club.
Shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Whatever. And that adds to the uniqueness of the relationship, right?
I had one of my Night of the Roxbury shirts on, I think.
Oh, I don't want to hear it. I don't know if I want to hear about that.
It was a Calvin Klein shirt and white jeans.
Really?
Remember, yes. He had overalls at that time, too.
Oh, those were so cool. Don't you remember those? The guests,
Calvin
you had
Klein?
to have them like one strap down.
Oh,
the way
God.
I
don't want to remember that.
Oh, yeah, they were tons.
Actually.
Yeah, I try to forget. I really do. I try to just block that out.
Although I think that if you could rock some overalls now, you could really bring them back.
Don't tempt me, Jen, because I will.
That might be our new objective.
Body Spartan overalls, I can see it now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You can rock them.
And in other news, Body Spartan stock drops drastically.
30%.
Falling off the NASDAQ.
Okay. So you met at 16 and 18, and then what? Then there was years of wonderful, beautiful courting. What happened?
We actually, why don't you tell this side of the story?
Well, that's when we became special friends, according to my dad, who absolutely refused to call him my boyfriend and encouraged me to hold off and wait until I went to college where there would be a smorgasbord of godly men. And I said that those were his exact words. And I just knew that this was the man that my life was pointing to. And he proved himself to my dad. Went over and had a fabulous experience. Wouldn't you say, honey? First time you ever met my parents?
So, we had been friends for a year and a half, and when she turned 18, it was like, okay, now we can officially start dating. And my folks were going to see a movie. It was The Mummy. Brendan Fraser. Remember how cool that movie was? And it was my folks, my brother, and it's like a family trip. And so I did the gentlemanly thing, and I called her dad, and I said, oh, hey, Mr. Ingram, this is Gabe Tuft, and I am a friend of Priscilla's. I wanted to know if it'd be okay if I took her to a movie with my family. We're all going to go see this movie. And he goes, okay, well, what time's the movie? I said, God, it's this time. He's like, okay, well, come on over at this time, which was like a half hour before the movie started. And she lived in Calistoga, and I lived in Sebastopol. So I'm all, okay, That's going to be cutting it real tight. It basically goes, come over at this time and we'll talk about it. I'm like, okay. So it's not a yes.
We'll talk about it.
So I show up on the doorstep. I shaved. I took my earrings out because I had earrings. Earrings were cool at the time. I took out my earrings. I shaved. I put on like a horizontal striped sweater that was long sleeves, so I looked, presentable.
He looked like a Backstreet Boy, to be honest.
Wow.
That's pretty much, clean cut.
AJ
I don't know what
so
happened.
Bad. I wanted to be AJ so bad. He was like the bad boy.
Backstreet's back.
But I show up on the doorstep with like a dozen roses, and I knock on the door, and he goes, he opens the door, he's like, oh, hey, are those for me? And he takes the flowers and goes, come on inside. Oh, cool. So he points to the couch. He goes, have a seat. And he sits me down, and then he sits across from me in the single chair.
The interrogation chair?
Yeah, and
lights pointing.
He does the dad.
Was it the timeout chair when you were little or something?
Right?
Well, then he does like the dad cross the legs thing, and he like puts his hands together and just sits there and he stares at me. And then there's this really long, awkward silence, and he's just staring at me to the point where I'm kind of nodding my head and looking around, and I get kind of nervous because the silence is so long, and I start like scratching my head, and I just, like look at him, and then he just slowly leans forward and looks me dead in the eyes and goes, "What exactly are your intentions with my daughter?" And I look at him like, I gotta change my pants. I'll be right back.
Meanwhile, I had no idea he was even in the house.
Wow.
I was getting ready. This was far before he was supposed to be there.
But apparently I said all the right stuff, and I got the green light to bring her back home at curfew, and everything seemed good after that. So Priscilla had a thing where she
I made a commitment.
Yeah.
I made a very strong commitment. I was 14 years old, and I was just very directed to have a relationship where I was respected and he was respected, and there was this unbreakable bond that was derived from something so much deeper than a physical attraction.
Right.
And so I made a commitment to God at 14 years old, stupid 14-year-old, that I was going to wait until my wedding day to kiss my husband. And I was not looking around to date a bunch of guys. I wanted to court a man that would potentially be my husband. So when Gabe came along, he was the first person that I didn't tell about my commitment. I had one-time dates with several different guys, and I said, hey, wait until I get married to have my first kiss. Is that cool with you? And one of two things would happen. They would either say, whoa, that's not going to work for me, or yeah, that's fine, and then try to steal a kiss. And I'd say, you're not the one. This isn't going to work out. But when I met Gabe, I was so just drawn to him. And I felt so strongly towards him that I didn't want to tell him about my commitment. Mm-hmm. Because in the past, it didn't work out so well.
And that's interesting. You said that you're 14, and then you said, I was a stupid 14-year-old. But I don't know if you actually believe that. Because it sounds like it worked out pretty well.
I was directed, but when I met this man, I wanted to go back on my agreement.
Right.
And I had...
So you were thinking, oh, I was dumb. Yeah, no, I get it.
Ego just exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about this.
Keep going.
And I had people holding me accountable, which I feel like accountability is everything.
Oh, girl.
In every area of our lives. But I had people holding me accountable to save that first kiss, to experience that with him on our wedding day or whoever it would be. So finally, 3 months into our relationship, we had this sit-down talk, and he said, listen, I'm really having strong feelings towards you, and I'd really like to kiss you. Are you feeling the same way? I told him about my commitment, and I was terrified to tell him, but when I told him, I realized that he was the one that I had been waiting for, because he said, Priscilla, I would wait 70 years for you, and I would wait 70 years all over again to kiss your lips. And he never went back on that. Not once. And that's how I knew that he was the one that I had been waiting for, and he was somebody who would respect me, and he allowed me to respect myself.
Somebody just passed me a tissue.
I'm like, is everyone in the studio
something out of my eye.
I'm crying.
You got a speck of dust in my hair.
There was actually, you'd think that he would be the one to kind of bust a move on me, after a couple years being together. And we set up commitments in our life at that time, such as not being alone together. not going on dates alone together, going on dates with our family. And it was so much more meaningful because we were getting to know the family and we were building substance.
Such a strong foundation.
Yeah, but I mean, we had alone time, but by that time we were pretty set in our ways and accountable. We knew the goal. And it's just like anything else that we do, you see the goal, you know what's in store for you. And once you know and have a clear vision of where you're going, the path to get there is very clear, and you don't want to deviate from it because you know the reward is going to be so great.
But the alone time really didn't happen until he went away to college.
Yeah.
And I was about 19 years old, and I was sitting on his couch next to him, and I kept on scooting closer and closer. And you think he would be the one to bust a move on me, but this man was committed to me. Yeah. Committed.
I remember that.
And I kept scooting closer, and my actions were such that I was trying to get his attention in a way that was more than spirit-based. And he looked at me and he grabbed my hands and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Priscilla, I need you to focus on my heart."
Well,
and it just deepened every single ounce of that commitment.
I know that, we're not supposed to talk about religion too much on the show, but a 14-year-old girl makes a promise to God.
No,
I don't want to be the one.
Truth.
I don't want to be the one to break that. Break that promise.
Yes.
It is like the guy that causes a girl to break her promise to God.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some fire and brimstone involved in that. So I'd be like, hey, whoa.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's back that hate truck up.
But to me, it also reinforces the amount of respect that's involved, and I think that's a core for me because that's one of my core values. I feel like that's also a core pillar of healthy relationships is simply respecting your partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And fast forward years later, being a celebrity's wife. Here I am. I gained well over 100 pounds when I was pregnant, and I created this big old divot and dent in the couch. Meanwhile, he's in another cut. Still there, yes. We need a new couch, by the way. If you know of anybody who's. Anyways.
And what's funny is that was where I used to sit. It was the Chase part of the the sectional couch.
Yeah.
And I used to sit there and hang out. And then when she was pregnant, that became her spot. And now when I go back to it, I just kind of sink down to the side. It's all, and I feel the wood, the framework of the couch underneath. But it reminds me of the time when she was pregnant. I was like, that was such an awesome time.
Yeah.
And look at what we have now. We got a beautiful 3-year-old,
and we built our relationship on something so much deeper than physical appearance.
Yes.
So he's in another country, and he's sitting backstage with WWE, and all these gorgeous, half-naked divas running around backstage. And not once did I worry that he was being faithful to me. Not once.
Yeah.
And when it came the time where I needed to lose some lbs, you know what he said? He said, "Take your time." And it made me want to work even harder. It made me want to give him my physique as a gift.
Well,
so
we had also been married, gosh, how many years before we were pregnant?
10 years.
So we've done stuff and things and traveled the world, and we're not the typical couple. Most couples, they either they get pregnant out of wedlock or they get married and have kids right away because that's what you're supposed to do, and then all of a sudden you're tied down in the working world. And so we were in the working world, but we got to do stuff and we got to party and go places and do things. And now, by the time we did get pregnant, it was like, okay, this is right. We're right on target right now. And there's no rush to do anything.
We thought things would chill out at that point. They just
all that
got
to say,
fun.
we have how many years we've been together? We've been 18 years plus 13 years of marriage. We have some things we've been through. We've been through a lot, and we've basically crafted some guidelines to help us survive. The divorce rate is so high right now. It's it's like 2/3 or something. It's giant. And
it's over 50. We know that.
We are the minority. Yeah. We're happily married for 13 years now, and we've had our rough patches. Don't get me wrong, but we've come to terms with these amazing guidelines that we've created just from our own experiences, and we want to share them with everybody. They're communication guidelines, and they're ways that will, things and strategies that will help you in your marriage, your relationship, and also, if you're in business with your spouse, these are going to be really important too.
And I think I want to identify that real quick because people have all different types of relationships, right? And like we were talking about before the show is also depending upon what your agreement is with your partner.
Yes.
Things might look different. Like what if maybe in one household, the woman has agreed to do most of the cooking and then the male, the husband does the dishes. Well, maybe in another household it's different. It's about what are the agreements. And I think that in your guys' case, though, too, just as a relationship, there's so many unique factors, such as how you met, what your commitment was before you got married, plus being in business, plus being high profile because you were both in kind of the stardom phase at different phases of your relationship, plus having a 3-year-old, plus being still super invested in your own health and fitness endeavors.
Right.
And I think that any one of those things could be a stressor in a relationship. So that's where I kind of even want to emphasize, like, hey, check it out. This is what the people that have all these potential stressors are doing.
Yes.
And so if you just have one of these, guess how even better this might work.
I think it's important, too, for the listeners that don't know who we are beyond our names, that we should probably just tell them exactly what it is that we do. So
yes.
I'm a former professional wrestler with WWE, which is formerly WWF. I was on Raw and SmackDown for 4 years, was in a couple WrestleManias, and now I'm a co-founder of a digital marketing company. I also founded the company Body Spartan, which is a fitness company, which basically is all motivation. We strive to lead, inspire, and motivate people to change their physiques and also their lives. And as part of that, Priscilla, I mean, her laundry list of things that she's done is huge as well. She's a retired professional fitness competitor. She works with Body Spartan with me as well, changing lives, working specifically with women, building coaching teams. And so we run 3 businesses, and I've got my fingers in a ton of other projects too. Yeah. We have our fingers in a ton of other projects. And so we are, work never stops for us. Mm-hmm. And so for those people that think, these guys, they work out of their home office, or they don't they're not part of the rat race. Like, whoa, we've been there, we've done that. And now we're doing a lot more. So when we put these communication guidelines out there, remember they're coming from, 2 people that are pulled in every possible direction every hour of the day, including raising a lovely 3-year-old.
And these were set up before we even knew what the heck our lives were going to be. I mean, what has happened in our life has blown our minds in comparison to what we expected. But we signed this agreement before we even got married because we wanted to set ourselves up for success. Just like you need a nutrition plan and a fitness program if you're looking to lose weight, a marriage needs a health and fitness plan too.
And I appreciate, too, the thoroughness and the thoughtfulness around these things, because I wanted to give people some things to chew on and think of as metaphors. Is why would you not build an incredibly strong foundation in your marriage, your relationship, the thing that, as I've heard, can affect you more than any other dynamic in your entire life, right? Yeah. Is the person you choose to spend your life with.
It's everything.
And we look at all these other, people create huge business plans when they build a business. Look at how you build a house. You create a really strong concrete foundation. Why would you not put the effort in to say, hey, let's make sure if we're committed to make this work, then let's make sure we're building a strong foundation, whether it's through dating and really getting to know each other for a few years before moving forward, whether it's making sure, hey, these are my core values. Do you match that? Is this also what you want in life, etc.? And hey, how are we going to resolve conflict? Because when 2 humans are engaging in any capacity, there's going to be conflict at some point, right?
Yeah. What is it that you have a saying, Priscilla, about us we can be our own, gosh, you said it the other night. It was, we are our own undoing, or we are our best weapon, or you said it so eloquently.
I said it in a very heated moment. I said that we are each other's key to undoing.
Or we are. There was a positive side.
There was a positive side. But we are the key to each other's undoing, but we are also each other's power piece.
That's what it was.
Because in business, everything can be going great. Everything can be going amazing.
Yes.
And then when there is something wrong in a relationship, whether it's your spouse or your boyfriend or even a parent, then suddenly you don't want to return emails. And suddenly everything just starts to fizzle out. Yeah. And the passion for your business falls away. So it's got to start at the core, which is your relationship.
Yeah, or it can work the other way around, and you can have an amazing partner, and at that moment they're building you up, and you're building each other up, and everything just expands exponentially. Your business expands, the love for each other grows and expands, and you're just in the vortex, and everything happens perfectly in harmony. It's beautiful. So, as a spouse, you are the one that can build me up and make everything good, or we are the ones that can tear each other down. And we've learned over the years that we're the only ones that can do that. We make sure that our mindset is such that nobody can affect us. We have our goals, we have our mindsets, and I don't care what other people think about anything. I know what I'm doing. Priscilla knows what she's doing, and we're set in our ways because we believe what we're doing is right.
And you know what your commitment to each other in the relationship is.
Yes, exact. Boom. Boom.
Yep.
And we are each other's success catalyst. We
Nice.
keep each
That's a good
other
analogy.
feeling good.
Yep.
We fuel each other. We give each other belief in themselves. But I kind of like Gabe's little catchphrase, happy wife, happy life.
Oh, everybody says that.
I do like that.
I say that all the time.
Credit where credit's due. That was Jody Molden.
Originally.
Years ago,
Love
one of our
her.
good friends. Okay, so maybe we should just segue into these.
I would love that. Yeah, let's go ahead and start
guidelines.
off because there's the first one as I'm looking at the list. That's one that a lot of people don't want to do. So why don't you share with us?
So number one is be a ready listener. And for guys, one of the things that it's going to be cool because we're going to get two completely different perspectives. You're going to get the male perspective and the female perspective
and
out of
then
this.
you'll hear the coach perspective.
Yeah, so we got three. I mean, this is the trifecta. Boom.
Yep.
That's my word of the day. Boom. Okay, so be a ready listener. And for guys, we want to solve problems. Most guys are, Tim the Toolman Taylor, where
Yes.
tell me your problem and I'll fix it. Let me get a power tool to fix it. There's always something to do. Oh, you have this. Well, just do this. The solution's really easy. When in reality, what I found is that a lot of females, especially my wife, they just want you to listen and not
heard.
just listen, but be actively engaged. Listen and have empathy. So when Priscilla tells me about something that happened when she's during her day, whether it's with Mia, our daughter, or whether it's something with one of her the people that she's coaching, instead of me just going, why don't you just do this or this or this, I try to say something like really listen and understand where she's coming from and go, man, that must have been hard for you, or wow, tell me more. How does that make you feel? And instead of just blowing it off, and it's more about not being selfish. It's more about taking a moment out of your life to let your busy day stop, come out of yourself, and put yourself in that person's shoes and go, okay, what is she really feeling when she's talking about this? Does she need me to solve the problem, or does she just need me to listen? And if 99% of the time, if I just listen and really pay attention to what she's saying, that is going to get us farther than me trying to just shove a solution out there and put it out there and go, all right, let's move on, next thing.
And what that means is him putting down his phone and looking me in the eyes. But more than anything, I love when he listens with his actions. When, just like in business, you want to go just a little bit further than the other person expects, to just blow their mind. And the more we focus on blowing each other's mind in our marriage, the better things get. I feel like it's that unexpected meal. The sexiest thing he can do is take our daughter to the gym so that I can have an hour or two to work with a client. And saying I love you more, and just random acknowledgments.
Is it taking our daughter to the gym, or is it when I take our daughter to the gym on leg day and I wear my compression pants?
Okay.
That's what I really want to know.
love that.
Again, keeping it real.
Guys can wear spandex too.
That's right. And so I appreciate what you said too, because there is a component around men innately wanting to fix things, and then women sometimes just wanting to be heard. Sometimes all we need to do is kind of vomit out what we need to get out, allow that to be heard, which is, in my opinion, a form of respect too.
Yeah.
I'm being shown respect when someone can listen and hear me. I don't know if you relate to that.
Absolutely.
And so that's a way to also show then a form of love just
Totally.
by hearing that.
Or, you can do it in compression pants, and
Everything gets better.
Everything's
in
better.
compression
It
pants.
gets solved by
I'm like,
itself.
you're so right, honey. You are
Yes.
so right.
Yes.
Sometimes
absolutely.
men wear stretchy pants.
Is that? And then number two is compression pants.
So, guys, all you guys go out there, go get a pair of Nike Combat compression pants, and anytime you have to listen, just slide those on real quick, and everything will go smooth.
And it does kind of lead us to the second point, because when you're drop-jawed, you are slow to speak.
Yeah. So number two on the communication guidelines is be slow to speak. We as humans have a tendency, like Jen said, to just vomit out whatever is on our mind, and it's not really conducive to a positive marriage. Communication is so important, and it goes back to just listening to what the other person is saying and then processing that information. We tend to try to fill in blank space. So instead of just being silent for a moment in communication, people just want to fill that in. They don't want any downtime. It's got a lot to do with our attention span. In my personal opinion, phones and TV and everything, instead of just taking a moment to process that. Silence is okay.
Yes.
One thing I learned from wrestling is, it's going to sound really, really weird. I think this would be a cool insight, but from wrestling, when we speak, we understand that we have the floor. When we got a microphone, we're in the ring, we're about to put on a big show, we're in compression
Stretchy pants.
stretchy pants, boots and underwear, basically. And you got millions of people watching on TV, and you've got like 10,000 people in an arena. And so you hold a microphone and you say something, and then you wait for their response, and you wait, and you make those silences count. But in reality, what's happening is I'm out there, and I'm trying to remember what I was going to say, and I'm not rushing it. And I come to a point where I go, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to think about what I'm going to say here. And I got to process this information. I'm going to look around and look really crafty. Mm-hmm. But the people get engaged at that point. And then I vomit out what I was going to say. But you make that silence. And what I'm saying for a marriage is, don't be afraid to process that information before you blurt something out, and really think about what it is you're going to say before you say it. Because 9 out of 10 times, if you vomit something out, what? You're looking at my chest, Priscilla.
Your shirt is so tight right now.
See, guys? You see what I'm talking about? This works. This is the key to happy
I'm like,
marriage.
do not chase shiny objects. I
Stay
totally
on.
was staring at his chest. Do I need to cut the mic?
Priscilla, I need you to focus on my heart.
Oh, God. Again, you got me again. That was smart. We got a snort out of Jen Julius.
So, guys and girls, be slow to speak. Priscilla, you want to comment on that?
And we have this phrase in our home, words are things.
Oh, yeah.
And when we speak, they hold energy, and our ears hear it. And when it goes into our minds, it goes into our hearts, and it changes the way that our subconscious feels. And what if we just took responsibility for the way that our spouse feels? I mean, you can only do so much, but don't be a catalyst for negative feelings. Be a catalyst for love and helping them believe in themselves and helping them feel so amazing about themselves.
Yeah, Maya Angelou, words are things. They get into the carpets, they get into the drapes, they stick around. And that's one of the things that we've learned is once it comes out of your mouth, when it's beyond just a thought and you say it, you speak that into existence. And there's no turning back. That is something that you believe about either your spouse or yourself, or once it's verbalized, your brain makes this connection and goes, okay, that's real. That's real life. So think before you speak. And if you think about positive things and you let positive things come out of your mouth, that's the universe that you're going to create for yourself.
I think that's very well said, and I appreciate that, because that old saying that sticks and stones will break my bones and words will never hurt me.
Ooh. They were so wrong.
Just going to say from my personal experience, sometimes I wish I got a stick thrown at me for some of the things that I've heard. I mean, to be honest, I think words can really affect us, like you said, too, on that subconscious level. In our subconscious, different research says anywhere from 80 to 95% of our behavior is drawn from the subconscious mind.
Yes.
So this is something to be thoughtful of. And on that note, we are moving on to number 3. The first 2 were be a ready listener and be slow to speak. Number 3, who wants to dive in?
Oh, resolve any issues before you go to bed. Go to bed. I love that term. But yeah, so, if you have some sort of issue with your spouse or your significant other and you sleep on it, you go to bed angry, how do you wake up the next day? I'm sure we've all had this issue. You wake up in the same mood you went to bed in, and you're even more pissed off. Like, everything compounds as you sleep. You think about it all night. I don't know. I have bad dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night, got to go pee, and I'm just like, I'm still grumbling. And the day starts off terrible. And we were told this a long time ago, don't go to bed with issues, make sure you resolve them. And we had to experience it firsthand, what it's like to go to bed angry at each other and know that is never the way for us to end a day. It just, we need to get everything off our chest and talk about it, resolve it before we go to sleep. And
part of that is just letting everything not be such a big dang deal.
Yes.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And just letting it go sometimes and addressing the important issues, but not nitpicking at each other, but creating a place of love and realizing, okay, it's Friday night. And right now we can make the choice to create a loving environment. That way we wake up feeling great on Saturday. That way when we wake up on Sunday, we feel this way, and we start Monday feeling powerful because Sunday night was the best night of the entire week.
Yeah.
Or you can go to bed in a bad mood, wake up and grimace at each other while you're making pancakes for your 3-year-old, and wake up Sunday morning and everything's thrown off. So you can make a choice at that exact moment in time to shift.
Yes.
And it's a choice. And we have a word in our marriage. Shift. Shift
Yeah.
with me. Come back with me. Come back to our happy place. Come back to our little vortex where everything's amazing and epic and colorful and lively. And
I think we should talk about the shift really quick.
I would love that.
So I don't want to sound too hippie. I mean, we are in Occidental.
I definitely have a strong hippie side, so let's get down.
Well, okay, so we're talking about the vortex, and the vortex. We're all kind of familiar with that. But Priscilla and I have this belief that there's definitely some energy that flows back and forth between any couple or even any two people. And as you hone into that energy, you can pick up on that person's vibrations. Molecules vibrate. That we all learned that in science.
Yes.
And they all vibrate at certain frequencies. But those vibrations change depending on what's going on, temperatures, that sort of stuff. And so there's a vibration for good energy and bad energy. And when we say shift, we're referring to we need to shift our vibration. We need to be vibrating at a higher frequency. We need to shift the way we're feeling. So shift from choosing to be in a bad mood with each other to how do we shift this? How do we fix this? So it's really earlier on I said, don't try to solve it. Be an active listener. But right here, right now, we're about to go to bed and we're in that, all is lost moment. All hope is lost right now. We need to take an active extreme measure and go, okay, stop everything. How do we shift this? How do we fix this issue that is right in front of us? And one of the things that Priscilla and I will do is we'll choose to say 5 things about each other that we're grateful for. So
in the heat.
Yeah, no matter how pissed off, no matter how pissed off we are,
we give love. So what it would be like, where there's no fixing the situation, like it's only going downhill from here, and we look each other in the eyes, and I say, Gabe, you make the best cup of coffee, and Gabe, thank you so much for how you sat down on the floor the other day and played blocks with our daughter. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your life to dream with me and to breathe with me and to hold my hand and to pray with me. And, all of these things. And it's hard at first because you really just want to choke the other person. But the more you get used to doing...
Tell me how you really feel, Priscilla.
Right.
Well, who was the WWE
the
wrestler?
I want to give her a burning hammer. So. But yeah, no, that's how it is.
And the thing is, we are passionate people. So when things get heated, they get heated. Yeah. It's a big deal.
And for those that have never tried this exercise, the way we usually start it is we'll just look at the other person, and one of us will just jump in knowing that that's the moment, and I'll say something like, I'm really grateful that you take so much time out of your day to spend with Mia while I am upstairs in the office working, and you sacrifice your choice to have your own career accelerate so that I can put food on our table right now. And then I'm grateful for this, or I'm grateful for that. And it's not just I'm grateful that you are blue, or I'm grateful that you got a great body. It's
real things,
deep stuff. Reach down inside it and really try to figure out what makes that person tick. What would they really appreciate? Not just from a superficial level, but from a deeper kind of spiritual level.
It's not fluffery. It's genuine. But usually he's grateful for a certain body part, and I'm grateful for his compression pants. And that happens, and we laugh. But that's not the gist of what we're trying to do. We're trying to really affirm and build value in the other people.
I think I'm going to retitle this when I edit it and put it up on YouTube, right? It's going to be the Compression Pants Show.
I think you should.
That might be a thing.
For those of you just now tuning in, there was a nice discussion about men wearing compression pants and how if you really want to get your wife's attention in the heat of a moment, just step out for a second, slide on your compression pants, and come back. And I swear it works great.
Changes everything.
Yeah.
And for those of you just joining that are listening live, Gabe and Priscilla both just started a Periscope stream. How can people that are on Periscope tune into that?
You can go to Periscope and find us at Gabe Tuft or at Priscilla Tuft, or go to our Twitter and see the latest link to Periscope that's there. So, hey, Periscopers, what's up, guys? I did the girl wave. Sorry, I did that kind of thing where I wave the fingers.
How fun. Perfect.
Okay.
So moving back then to, number 4.
4. Oh, man, this is good. Use silence as a tool instead of a weapon. So, kind of going back to being slow to speak, don't be afraid to let there be a moment of silence. And one thing that I think a lot of the guys will understand out there is that we get really heated. We get fired up, and we let our emotions take over, and there's testosterone involved, and we want to break things. even though it's our life, I want to turn around, I want to punch a hole in the wall, or I want to punch a hole in the laundry room door, which I've never
That
done.
has never happened.
I've never put a hole through my laundry room door ever, I swear. And I didn't cover it up with a picture of my family afterwards to remind me that
Never
behind
happened.
that picture is a hole that I put there because I was mad.
We have also, and I have never thrown eggs at him when I was mad. No.
Oh, that happened. I
Never.
remember that.
Were they not in a shell, or if that would have happened, would they have been in a shell, or were they like scrambled?
They were in a shell. They were fresh out of the refrigerator, and they were flying at my head. And they landed on the curtains.
I really thought it would be comic relief. I've also tried the same thing with water, but
that's when
it's
I threw
not
the plate.
funny.
I frisbeed the plate after. Yeah, that was
Frisbee
really
the plate.
guys.
Not
We've been
funny.
through so much crazy stuff, and I don't want you to think that we're perfect by any means, because we're not. We're humans. We make a lot of mistakes, and
Well, he is.
frisbeeing a
He's
ceramic plate through the house is something that I have done. So I'm speaking from experience. But
What was a frisbee?
a ceramic plate, just a plate. I just. Food on it, I just frisbeed it.
We won't
"Here you
talk
go.
about the
You want
time
to throw
he threw
eggs?
the
I'll
glass
frisbee
one.
a plate. So
Perfect.
it's,
But none of this actually happened.
It's like a big pissing
if this
contest.
had
Like,
happened.
If it would happen.
if this had happened, not that
Other
it really
people
happened.
do that kind of stuff. I don't
But
know.
so it's that cool down period. So hey, and guys will just get in the car and drive off and peel out. That's what I used to do. I'm like, I'm going for a drive, and I just I take off and like, yeah, she knows I'm mad, but I'm gonna go cool down. So now instead of that, we have an understanding where we go, okay, look, if we're in a moment, we need to separate and let ourselves cool down. We're going to tell each other calmly and say, I go, hey, Priscilla, I love you. This is really important to me, and I know we need to finish this, but I'm feeling really heated right now, and I'm going to go for a walk. I'll be back. And the last thing I say is, I love you. I'll be back and we'll figure this out. But I always make sure that
We
there's
have a time to come back to. We
Yeah.
have a place to come back to, and an agreement that we're not going to go speeding off in the car.
yeah.
So usually I'll go
I've got to emphasize this one because we're humans, especially people like the three of us. I mean, there's so much hot-headedness in this room right now.
There's a lot of type A ego.
Let's
in
just
this
be
room.
real. But to be able to say, I need some space so I can calm my crazy is what I call it. I need to calm down my crazy.
Calm down your crazy. I like that.
I got to calm down my crazy.
Yeah.
But to respect yourself and your partner and the relationship and say, you know what, let's cool off and revisit this. That's the key, is we have to revisit. You don't just walk away, leave, and not finish something, because then the same issue is just going to come up in a month or in a week or the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being able to say, we're going to come back and revisit this. This is when I love you. Okay. Right?
That's exactly what we're doing. It's a moment to go be by yourself, sort out your feelings, and it goes back to that energy that we were talking about, where there's a lot of energy, and I know guys and even girls who can relate when your blood just starts boiling and you don't make good choices. You just go off emotion. Purely emotion and nothing else.
And something that helps us a lot is we both love to oxygenate our brains when we are in that heated moment, and we
Yeah.
need a break from each other. Not a disrespectful break, but an agreed upon break.
Yes.
So my thing, I love to go for sprints, and I will just run as hard as I can down the street, because that energy is a good thing. So why not use that adrenaline for something that's going to benefit me and come back with an oxygenated mind that is ready to heal and ready to grow, and then I can come back. And his thing is he'll go to the gym and he'll work out.
I'll pick up heavy things and put them down. Yeah.
And
well,
that
and
helps.
also,
It puts
one
the
of the
energy
things,
to good
if
work.
you know that you're a physical, a tip that I give people sometimes is if you know that you're a very physically reactive person and that's something necessary for you, to honor that, because if you start getting super worked up, there's a lot of anxiety or frustration flowing through your body. Dispelling it in a physical way is a great tool to release some of that energy that's pent up and cycling.
And
Yeah.
then you're going to
Absolutely.
release serotonin. And as a result, you're going to be a nicer person.
You will shift your entire state of
That's
being.
exactly it.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's kind of funny is I've noticed that a lot of times my best workouts will be when I'm angry, but they'll also fizzle because I can't hold on to that anger for very long. Like I'll leave. I'm like, I'm going to the gym. I love you. And I'll get in the car and then I'm like, I'm kind of grinding again. I get to the gym. I'm like, oh, forget this. And I'll start throwing some weight around. And like 15 minutes into it, I just start feeling like a D-bag, for lack of a better. Can I say that on the air? I don't know. I just
You did.
I realize all the mistakes that I've
D for
made. I'm
dirt.
just like, man,
Dirt
I don't
bag. He
want
felt
to
like a dirt
feel
bag.
this way. Like, it's good to feel angry for a minute, but I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. It's like it's sucking the adrenaline out of me, and it's like taking my focus off where it needs to be. And I'll usually end up sending Priscilla a text. I'm like, look, babe, I'm really sorry. I'm going to finish my workout. I love you. Let's fix this when I get home. I was wrong. I was wrong. I'd suck my pride up, swallow my pride. Eat a big pile of dog poop. I'm just like, whatever. Can we just get this over with? I was wrong, and I love you. I'll be the first to jump out there and just put my heart on my sleeve. I mean, you do it too, but that's usually how it works. It's like you oxygenate your brain and you just you see the solution. You're like,
So let
okay,
silence be a good thing in marriage. Silence is okay, but in communication, let it be a good thing. And then the next thing
just
is
tell me I'm rambling next time. That's fine. You don't have to cut me off.
No, this is. I think it's all a great point.
And
though.
the next point
Just
is
lie
like
to
so
me.
similar to that. So when you do come back together, use kind words and use kind tones. And we say that to our 3-year-old now too. We use kind words and we use kind tones in our home. And what better way to show love, right?
And that goes back to when we talked about, what was the one? Didn't we just talk about words? Words? Didn't we just
Words
talk
or
about
things?
Words or things.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what it was. I think using kind words and kind tones is so important because those words do stick around and do impact people.
And you can disagree and have a conversation without being harsh with each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And physical contact is a huge thing for him. We know each other's triggers, but we also know each other's calm down points. And sometimes when he's heated, just physical touch, like an I love you touch, it requires me to be humble, and it requires his body to just kind of calm down.
Yeah, there's definitely, I don't know if it's just everybody was raised differently. And you know how when you're a kid, there are just things that affect you for the rest of your life. I don't know if this applies to everybody, but it definitely works for me when I'm mad and I'm pissed off and my blood's boiling. If Priscilla just comes up and puts her hand on me and looks me in the eyes, that physical touch, like skin to skin contact, there's some sort of energy transfer that happens there, and I can literally feel the anger released from my body. And I'm like, okay.
Wow. And the thing
She
that
loves
touch
me.
says
Like
is
the wall comes down, you know?
Yeah.
the thing that touch says is you're significant.
Yeah.
You're enough.
Yeah.
You're adequate. And in a marriage, that is everything. And that's why we're so hesitant to create change in our marriage, because it makes the other person feel insignificant. And
Yep.
so the other person tries to stop them from progressing.
What do you mean by change?
Change. Okay, so I work with a lot of weight loss clients. So when people come to me and they want to lose weight, I notice the number one sabotaging factor is the spouse.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, usually it's their own darn mind.
Right. But
the spouse a lot of times is oh, well, how about some brownies? How about, how about this date
Oh, you're
night?
just
How
saying that
about-
because I made brownies last night.
I'm so mad about that. But the spouse tries to sabotage because they're going to wonder, okay, am I going to be enough when you hit your goal? Am I going to be enough when you are a multimillionaire?
Yeah.
And I'm the one that stays at home with the kid, male
It's
or
scary.
female. It's terrifying.
Sure.
And so I feel like affirming each other and letting the other person feel significant and making sure that they know that they're adequate is the catalyst for successful change in a business and without change or in your life. And without that change, there's no way to progress. You will be the same person in 5 years as you are today. And
Yes.
how is that going?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, deep breath on that one.
Goose fraba. Goose fraba.
Ooh, you should talk about breath.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of our favorite things.
Oh,
it's one of our favorite
You're
techniques.
welcome for that reminder.
Yes.
That was perfect. So, okay, at least once a day we have this thing where, and it stemmed from us on our date nights, we got into kind of meditating with each other where, and this isn't like some weird, I don't know, like, people say meditate, you think of like an Indian guy in a loincloth sitting around on a crazy rug with an elephant in the background. And the elephant's trunk is like, and he's,
Is that what people think of?
I mean, that's what I think
That's
of.
our experience, but I don't know.
I don't know. But for us, it's being in a very calm environment with, like a scented candle. So the atmosphere is right. And we're just everything that you can do to be at your calmest and then empty your mind and let all the day's worries just completely dump out of your brain and you focus on each other. And it's literally, we found that sitting next to each other or sitting face to face, kind of Indian style. It's funny I say Indian style after that comment. It's not even the right, not even the right reference to the culture.
Crisscross applesauce is what
Crisscross.
we say to
That's what my
little
daughter
children.
says. Yeah, crisscross applesauce, Dad.
Yeah.
So we sit crisscross applesauce facing each other, and we'll take each other's hands and we'll look into each other's eyes, and we will synchronize our breathing. So as one person breathes in, you take a big deep breath. Breathe together and you hold it for a couple seconds and then you exhale. And when you match your breathing, it puts you on the same vibration and you are literally experiencing what the other person experiences. And then if you want to take that to another level,
This is also something really, really powerful in intimacy. If you are having any sort of separation
Yes.
of spirit. If you breathe in time with that person, if you are at all loss and you feel like there's nothing that you can do to move forward, breathe in time with that person, and I guarantee it will make a shift in your relationship. It's unbelievable.
I think Tony Robbins mentioned something about this too.
Yes.
It was when he was doing his marital coaching or counseling, I think is what he said. I was listening to one of his YouTube videos, and he said people call him up and they're just like, look, I'll fly out to see you. We'll do whatever it takes. Got all this money. He's like, look, I'm booked for a year. You can't. I don't have any openings. So, well, just give me one piece of advice. And he goes, did you take time to breathe with your spouse? And that's kind of where we got the idea. But it's also just to throw a little flair in there. When you're sitting crisscross applesauce, as you're breathing, you put your hand on the other person's heart, right on their chest, and that just has some sort of neurological connection. I don't know the exact explanation for it, but I can tell you there's a lot of energy there. And so when you both have your hands on each other's chest and you're breathing in sync, for a couple of minutes straight, everything just, your mind empties and you focus on the other person, and it really creates this awesome connection as spouses. It's amazing, and you just let everything be silent. Don't say a word. A lot of times we'll close our eyes to start with, and then we'll open our eyes midway through, and we'll literally look into each other's eyes. And I always say, the eyes are the window to the soul.
It's the truth, and can I comment on that?
Well, it's your show. I mean,
I
I don't really have a choice.
I can do whatever I
want. No, Jen, you cannot.
Well, only because the concept of connection is so critical for me, and it's something the breathing that you just suggested is what I do with my clients before we start a session.
Ooh, cool.
To get us to ground them, to get us on the same level. I do it with my class when I teach a class once a month to get everyone on the same plane, right? And the concept of connection, I believe, here's my little tangential thing, is that we unfortunately have lost a lot of connection in our culture. We're not taking the time to really, truly, deeply connect with other humans, right? And so with something as simple as this, and then also to deepen it with the example you gave of the hand on the heart with your partner and sharing that space, I mean, we're talking about building connection on a much deeper level than just like, oh, we hung out, or oh, we had sex last night, or whatever. We're actually building a connection on multiple levels of the person, the soul, the spirit, whatever you want to call that, the mind, the body, all of it. And that's, in my opinion, what we're here for, right? Is to build that deep-seated, genuine connection with other people.
Absolutely.
Isn't that why we work so hard and make money and do all this hustle?
Yeah.
We want to spend it with the people we love, right?
Yeah, having all that money at the end of the day, and having all the success in the world, just speaking from somebody that's been there, it means nothing if you don't have someone to share it with. And if you're not truly happy at home and in your life, and you don't have that just that satisfaction that I don't want to say we're the answer, but I share a lot of, what is the term I'm looking for? It's like self-satisfaction. I feel very fulfilled with Priscilla when we focus on these things, and all the money in the world, all the fame in the world, and all the success in the world is just not a substitute. I mean, you can have zero money and share what Priscilla and I share and feel like you're a millionaire.
Absolutely. And I think that I appreciate you saying that, and I hope people hear it, because money, when people say like, oh, if you have all this money, you can do all this fun stuff, you'll be happy. There's even research that says once your basic needs are met, money doesn't really influence much of your happiness factor.
Right.
Sorry.
The rest is pretty much a video game. We have
this analogy.
And
I love this.
When we sit there and we meditate together, we pray together, and we ask God to be a part of what we're doing, because we want this to be a spiritual experience together.
Yes.
And I just feel like it's a platform. Like, there's no way to fail after that.
Yeah.
And what Gabe says is, just imagine a bubble around us where it's just the two of us, and everything that is stressing you out, put it aside.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Which I think actually that now I'm moving into number 6, right?
Yeah.
This is hard for some people.
This is really hard, and it goes back to what I said earlier about swallowing your pride. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Pride will be the downfall of any man or any female. It does us no good. And number 6 on our communication guidelines is say sorry, ask for forgiveness, and forgive. It's so important. People will flippantly say, even we've done this. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry that what I did pissed you off. Yeah. In that kind of tone, and it's obviously not genuine. And when you really get down to the heart of it, and you separate yourself, and you put yourself in your spouse's shoes, if Priscilla's mad at me, or if she's trying to express something, and I'm in the vortex and I'm feeling, the good energy, I'll stop and I'll go, okay, why is she saying this? What is happening in her day and right now in her mind that is making her say this, and why is she saying it? And then I'll try to think about, even though I have my own opinion about how I feel about this situation that we're in, I'm just going to swallow my pride and be like, look, sweetheart, I'm sorry that I approached it this way. I'm sorry that I was harsh with my words. I'm sorry that I handled it this way, and I'm sorry that it is affecting you. Will you please forgive me, and can we start over? And usually at that time, it goes back to the other one. I'll grab her hand, and I'll say that, or I'll put my hand on her leg, or put my hand on her shoulder, or, in other places. And her foot, guys. Come on, her foot. Her foot. Usually I'll rub her foot.
Suddenly this interview is PG-13.
I was talking about your foot. But anyway, the point is that you...
Compression pants.
Keep going.
I'm just going to take my pants off and do this rest of this interview in my boxers just for kicks. But you Periscopers would like that. And I just noticed my phone died, so we lost Gabe's feed, but Priscilla's feed is still live on Periscope. Now I'm thinking about compression pants. Okay. Basically, you have to literally forgive the other person and wipe the slate clean. If you hold on to a grudge, it's useless. You build up all these little nitpicky things and you save it for next time. You have to really honestly let go and just be able to say, okay, I want the rest of my day to be great, and I'm just going to brain dump this. She said she was sorry. I said she was sorry. I'm not mad anymore. Let's just move on and let's go be happy. Literally, let's just go be happy.
Usually at the beginning of your show, you ask why we're so awesome. That is why we're so awesome, because we do not hold grudges. And I know that it's, the power of God in our relationship and our determination not to hold grudges, but we do not remember bygones. They're gone. No. It's finished. It's over. And we've screwed up in major, major ways throughout our marriage. We're great at that. And we just we can't even remember what those things were because we let them go.
Yeah. I think that's so beautiful, because the component of, we might ask oh, you should forgive me for something, but to actually then forgive someone for something they've done. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this is just to give I always have to give the other caveat. What we're not talking about, guys, is we're not saying that if you're in a super crazily abusive relationship that you're just going to forgive and forgive and forgive. What we're talking about is when there's the human error of having an outburst or getting angry and maybe saying something silly.
Yep.
We're saying being able to recognize that we're human, right? Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate you guys emphasizing that, because we're all people trying to just do what we can.
And one other thing to touch on that point is that when you say sorry and ask for forgiveness from the other person, it's important to make a conscious effort to change what you're saying sorry for. So if you just say, sweetheart, I'm really sorry that I used harsh words with you and that I exploded in anger. Well, next time when you're in that situation, it's really important to remember what happened last time and make an effort to change that. Make a conscious effort to go, oh, wow, I'm in this cycle. I'm in this endless loop in a program, in a video game where I'm stuck. Like in Super Mario Brothers, where you're stuck on the water level.
Gosh.
Or you get in the endless warp. It's like a glitch, and you just go over. Yeah, exactly. You get on the pipe over and over and over and over again, and you're stuck there. We as humans are in that cycle, and we have to be able to break that cycle to advance and to realize, have a conscious realization of, I've been here before. Mm-hmm. I need to change this. This has happened. Why is this happening again? I need to do something to change. I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my future. Everything that comes out of my mouth and everything that happens in the day, I'm in control of. And I'm going to make a conscious effort to change.
Yes. And that is exactly along the lines of tip number 7. Instead of nagging, which is that cycle that Gabe's talking about, be grateful. And the same thing is just removing blame and taking responsibility for your own life. That's number 8.
Yeah, I think that's so important, that number 8, removing blame, because just like I was saying, one of Priscilla's and my outlooks, and it's a recent realization, I'd say within the last year.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
our life has morphed so much this past year.
I'm almost 37. Priscilla's 33. Are you 33? Man, wow, we're in the prime of our life. It's taken us this long to realize it, and it's only been in the last year that we realize we are 100% in control of our life. The way the day goes can always go differently with the actions that we take. So instead of us going, man, I got up this morning, I was in a great mood, and Priscilla, you just threw me off. Well, no,
Did you allow that?
Exactly. I allowed her to throw me off, or she allowed me to throw her off by something I did or said, instead of going, oh, I'm in control of this exact situation. And the way that I respond, the choices that I make right here and right now in the moment are going to affect the outcome of the entire day. And I have the power to change at this fork in the road. I can go right or I can go left. And I choose to go this way. And that path is usually the path less traveled. But again, it goes back to being in that cycle and realizing I have frickin' been here before. I know this route. I don't want to be on this path. I want to change. I want to be happy today. I want to move forward and live a really happy, high vibrational life and go, okay, hey, sweetheart, I noticed that you might be a little off today. Can I do anything for you? Can I help you? What can I do to get you back on track?
Show up in service, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. Exactly, show up in service. Yeah, have a servant's heart. How can I help you? We're a team, and my teammate is having a hard time. You know, we're not gonna cross that finish line unless we're together. So here's my hand. Let me pull you up. And both partners have to be strong enough to do that.
Mm-hmm. The biggest piece that I think people need to hear is that the concepts that we're talking about, they're committed to. Gabe and Priscilla have made the commitment to utilize these guidelines, to utilize these tools. And I think that's something that really makes the big difference is people saying, hey, you know what? This is what I'm choosing, and allowing themselves to choose it. And I really want to emphasize that point is this might not be easy, but these tools work. These are the foundation of having a happy, healthy relationship with multiple people, with your partner, with children, with coworkers, whatever. Being committed to being your best self, being committed to using the tools that you have at your disposal is what can start shifting your life.
Amen, sister.
So we have two more. I just had to put that out there because I can feel that people are probably like, wow, well, maybe this works for them. No, this can work. These are simple tools.
Yeah.
Simple tools that work.
Especially that last one. I mean, I know at the end you're going to ask us to summarize everything and give like one tip. And I'm just going to do it now. And even though we got two more to go, I'm just going to say that is probably the most important takeaway from this entire interview is that you are in control of your life, your day, and every choice you make affects the outcome of your day and your relationship. And if you want to be in a happy relationship, if you want to constantly be in a good mood with your spouse, you have to choose that. You have to consciously make a choice to break the cycle. And even though sometimes it may be a one-way street, it will not always be a one-way street. The other person will notice what's going on. It may take a day. It may take a week. It may take a month. But I guarantee you, if you continue to do that, you will pull the other person up and they will see what's happening.
If you want change in your relationship, you must be the one to change.
And be willing to get the support and put the effort out. I think that's where people sometimes, I think pride again gets in the way is maybe they'll be so attached to their story. My tagline, change your story, change your life, change the world.
Yeah.
We've all had crazy stories. I know you guys know some of the stuff I went through my first 20 years of life. And being able to say, you know what am I going to choose at this point? How can I turn my struggles into strengths, go to therapy, get the support that I need to shift. That's a word for me too. To make this conscious choice to use some of these things I've been through as a way to potentially serve others, right?
Yep.
To do my own healing work and be able to show up differently, stronger, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big thing that you guys emphasize too is like, you know what? I need to do my own work too. If there's an issue, then how do I take responsibility for it and shift my own behavior potentially? And with our last two I love these actually. Our last two, number 9, respond in love. Tell us about that one.
What if everything was love? Every word that comes out of your mouth, every action, and that is what you can use to hold up your actions and your words to. Not only speaking highly to your partner, but speaking highly about your partner. What are the things that you're saying? And not even your partner, anybody that you're experiencing conflict with. What are the things that you're saying? Because again, words are things.
Yes. Yes.
So hold it up to the measure of love. And then number 10, try to understand the other person's opinion. I have this thing that I've adopted over the past year when I did my New Year's resolutions. See that the other person is you. And how can you relate to the way that person is feeling? How have you experienced that? Suddenly, you're not the perfect one, but you're on a level playing field and you understand that person's perspective so much more deeply.
You want to comment on that too?
Well, I'm I was sitting here kind of looking over the notes and looking at the 10 communication guidelines we just went over, I had a thought, and it was me remembering something I challenged one of my Body Spartan team members to do at a moment when there was a lot of negativity happening. It's just life. We're busy. Finances are tight. We're training for a show. This team member was training for a recent competition. And I mean, it gets really stressful. I mean, your diet is very difficult. Your carbs are cut. Your calories are cut. You're working harder than you ever had it in your life. In the gym multiple times a day, you're exhausting your body. And then you're dealing with your 40, 50, 60-hour a week job that puts food on the table. And then your family at home trying to make time for everything. And it was really stressful. Long story short, I challenged this team member, and I think I actually don't think, I know that I want to present a challenge to all the listeners today that will set them on this path, whether they think about all these communication guidelines or not. This is basically step one. This is the bottom of the stairs to going down a completely new path in your life. And my challenge to everyone listening is to, for 1 week, for 7 days, I challenge you to not let a single word of negativity come out of your mouth. So, and now this is
it's powerful.
This is exactly, it's really powerful. You have to shift the way that you think, and you have to change the way that words come out of your mouth. So, if somebody offends you, or you see somebody, here's a perfect example. You see somebody in the gym and they're doing something wrong, or you just don't like their face, or whatever it may be.
I've been there.
Change. Yeah. I mean, I just don't like you. I don't like the way you look because you walk differently, or you have this arrogant look. Reality, if you knew everybody's story, you probably love them a little more.
That's right.
Point being, instead of looking at that person going, I just don't like you because I'm judging a book by its cover, think and go, man, good for that person for being in here. I bet they had a really hard day. Or, as tall as that guy is, he's actually working really hard in the gym, or whatever it may be. Substitute anything negative that's coming out of your mouth and speak positivity, and it will change your neurological pathways. It will change your alpha waves in your brain, and you will start thinking differently. Because remember, once you speak it, you speak it into existence. So now you're speaking positive instead of negative, and you're changing what people hear out of your mouths that are around you. So you will shift the way they think as well. They'll be around you and they'll notice that you're more positive. But your outlook on life for the next 7 days, starting today, will be completely different. And I challenge you guys, don't just stop today. Print out a piece of paper, write it on a piece of paper, put it on your dashboard in your car, put it out in your refrigerator at work. 7 days, speak positivity. So everywhere you look, you remember, okay, today I'm positive. And consciously break that cycle.
And it starts in your mind. The negative seeds start in your mind. So what if you focused on gratefulness instead? So you do see that girl that looks way better than you in the gym, and she's rocking a half top, and you just want to put bacon grease in her protein shake or whatever aggressive feelings you're experiencing.
The secret mind of Priscilla Tuft.
What if you looked at her and just thought, I'm so grateful that she shows me what I am capable of doing. What if? So it starts in the mind, and then it materializes with our words, and we hold it up to the candle of love. Am I speaking love? Am I thinking love? Am I being love?
I love this. I think that can we make this an official challenge? Like from listening to the
Heck
show live?
Heck yeah.
I think can we all put a Facebook post up after this saying join the trio challenge of positivity?
Yeah, I think we should. What we should do is
and then if you're listening
one
to
of us will
recorded,
post it and everybody repost. That way we can kind of keep eyes on it and we can all comment on it.
If you're listening to the recording, you can start this at any time, and then you can just hit one of us up on Facebook. Let us know how you're doing. We're going to give you all of our contact info here in a few minutes as soon as we summarize the 10 communication guidelines and say thank you for them being here. We have a lot of fun when we get together.
We do.
I think that, and what I want to just say, I think that the piece that I want to really just emphasize is things don't have to be so complicated, guys. You can really, once you can know yourself and honor yourself and love yourself, and then allow yourself to love others and build sacred connection to other people, to other humans, allowing yourself to experience the beauty that life can be, and then you have the tools that can serve you to keep you being your best self, you can have everything that you want, right? Life can be a beautiful magic carpet ride. with that said, I really appreciate Gabe and Priscilla being here, and I would love, can one of you just summarize 1 to 10 the communication guidelines?
Yeah, definitely. So very quickly, the summary. Number 1, be a ready listener. 2, be slow to speak. 3, resolve any issues before you go to bed. 4, use silence as a tool instead of a weapon. So calmly take a break, walk away politely. Kind words, kind tones. Number 6, say sorry, ask for forgiveness, and forgive. 7, instead of nagging, be grateful. 8, remove blame. 9, respond in love. And 10, try to understand the other person's opinion.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We love having tools. We love having tools to use. And so...
Oh, I thought you were calling me a tool.
No way, Jose. So
say what?
You can... we're going to also post that challenge on Facebook, but first I wanted to say thank you both for being here. How can people find out more information about you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to find more information about us and what we do, please check out our website. It's bodyspartan.com, www.bodyspartan.com. You can find me directly on Twitter at Gabe Tuft. You can find Priscilla on Twitter at
Priscilla Tuft. But I'm more of a Facebook girl because I like to interact that way. So at Priscilla Tuft, Facebook.
Yep. Body Spartan, at Body Spartan on Facebook as well. Any of those will get to us. We personally manage everything directly. Everything goes to us. Contact form submissions on Body Spartan will go directly to us. So we will see everything that you guys submit. We're very hands-on with our audience, and we'd like to be involved at a personal level. So please, guys, feel free to reach out and contact us.
It's amazing. And any final things that you just want to shout out to the world from this show?
Yeah, absolutely. You are in control of your life. You make the decisions. Your life is what you make it. You get one life. You do not get to do this again. This is it. There is no reset button. There is no reboot. So make every second count. Don't wait. Take action right now.
So well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Priscilla, did you want to add anything?
I just am in total agreement with him. Words are things, and the way that we project ourselves to our partner will change the way that they feel. And if they're feeling good, life's going to be a little bit more epic.
Yes.
So why not grab that person that you know you belong to and just make life incredible together?
And if all else fails, guys, put on compression pants.
And, gosh, all right. And with that, I need to say thank you for listening to Information and Inspiration with Jen Julius. For more information about me and to also find the recording of this show in just a few weeks, probably I'll be able to have this up, you can go to jenjulius.com. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/JenJuliusCoaching. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something amazing and wonderful, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.